paradise on the planet Earth. And as a last point, changing the frequency requires to leave your own old self behind and accept the new version of yourself, okay? Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. I am in beautiful Taghazout again, and my main concern is the wind, but hopefully you can hear me. So let's proceed with today's video. You know, there is a saying that you will be suffering until you realize that you don't have to suffer anymore. You know, in my previous videos I was talking about the belief of if we believe that anything is possible, and the mindset change and the happiness and all of it. And in today's video I want to talk about the mechanisms behind how we can actually change our life, how we do this. Okay, so keep watching. Thank you. Let's go. I will give you a secret. To heal, you have to feel. So good, so good. How we can actually change our reality, the mechanisms of how we actually changing our reality. Everything starts from our mindset, as I was talking about that in my previous videos. But collectively, of course, I mean, collectively, we are working according our specific routine. We get up, we do certain things, we go to work, we come back, you know, we pay our bills, on and on, on and on, the life goes on, you know. There is a specific structure that we follow to function in society, and collectively we're doing it all, we're doing it, and then this prevents us from maybe thinking outside of the box and thinking that actually we don't have to follow this, we can do something else. But in order to have this mindset, we have to be open-minded. So that's why I am talking about it, to raise the awareness. And so that's one thing that I want to mention. Firstly, collectively, we operating in a specific way according to our routine. This also, from the collective point of view, because we have been programmed in a certain way, that means also there is a high chance that many of us think the same, think alike, you know. And if we have a different mindset, if we try to change, or if we want to live according to what think is best for us, and maybe not necessarily what and how we have been programmed according to our collective routine, then that is a brave move, and you have to have some sort of courage to do it, okay, you know? Because then you will either, so for me it's like you are either leading or you are following. So and both ways it's okay if you feel like this is how you want to live your life. I am not you know, I'm not saying that the other is better, you know, but everyone has a choice, and So everything starts from our collective understanding of how we should live our life, and the social pressure sometimes as well. So, and how open we are for new, basically. Because if we are not open, then it's going to be a very difficult to change that mindset and to see that maybe there are different ways of living this lifetime, you know, and everyone has their own cultures, tradition, and the way they want to live their life, and the influence of many factors, many things, and why this child still talks. And also we have specific expectations from our family members, from our partners, from our children, from our neighbors, friends, so on and so forth. And this way of thinking sometimes prevents us from being more open-minded and seeing that we can actually live our life in a completely different way and allow ourselves for different opportunities. So these expectations as well that we have imprinted in our head, because something should be that way, someone should act that way, and if it's not, then this seems a bit weird. And sometimes we might actually make other people uncomfortable because maybe we are confronting their fear, not confronting, maybe we are showing their fears through the way we live our life, the way we challenge them sometimes, maybe their belief system, you know. So all of this is in fact the reasons, the outcomes of our programming from a childhood, you know. And I'm not saying that some of these things, everything is negative. No, please do not misunderstand my words, okay? Some of the things are very good if collectively benefits us, but many of these things prevents us from opening our mind, opening our soul, opening our head and the way we think for different possibilities, okay? And we all do have this, but again, I am promoting awareness in this channel, and if we are aware, and if we know that something doesn't serve us, something actually prevents us from creating our reality the way we want to create our reality, we should allow ourselves to be open for maybe something else, you know. So when it comes to awareness is the starting point, okay? Awareness, self-reflection is the starting point of any change, okay? Of any change. And because our brain is designed to feel comfort, every time we feel out of our comfort zone, it's like it's threatening us a bit, the situation. We feel maybe we are under attack, you know, and this is also connected to our ego. So ego sometimes prevents you from your own growth. But it's okay, we are humans. And as long as we feel comfortable with the way we live our life, that it's absolutely fine, okay? All I want to talk in these videos is about that maybe if you feel like something doesn't serve you, there are other options, there are other possibilities, and this is another reason of what prevents you from living your life the way you want to live your life. So these are the mechanisms that are imprinted in us, in our brain. I really do hope that you can hear, because what I am about to say is really important, and this is something that is obvious but it's not so obvious, okay? And I really do want to let you know about this, and I want you to fully reflect on this, okay? Because this could potentially unlock your mind to completely different understanding, okay? So I want to talk about frequency because I feel like I have mentioned that so many times in my videos, and maybe for some of you might not be obvious. Frequency, we use this word in energetical world to explain the vibe of every individual, or just to talk about vibes, you know. Every human being carries some sort of frequency, whether positive, negative, low, high. And low vibration or a low frequency could be explained that we sometimes feel very negative. We sometimes have emotions of anger, jealousy, negative, you know, emotions. And then this is where we can describe that we are vibing on a low frequency. But when it comes to different frequencies, higher frequencies is, for example, the feeling of happiness. And on very high frequencies, I could describe being open for the lifetime opportunities, or being open-minded, not being closed off to you know, other ideas. Also wisdom. Wisdom is based on a very high frequency level, you know, and controlling your emotions, knowing how to control your emotions, getting rid of the negative vibes. What we are trying to achieve ultimately is to be on a high frequency as often as we can, but also we should allow ourselves for the awareness even if we feel low. That's fine. This is how we are as humans. But we ultimately are responsible for our frequency, and to change our frequency we need to be aware of these things. Then we can look after ourselves, look after our mental state, mental well-being, and then change that onto positive, onto higher vibrational state. And I wanted to describe that to you guys and to myself as a reminder to be aware of that, because if we are aware of that, because I'm giving you another reason why we should work on ourselves, okay? To be on a high vibrational state. And then from that perspective, it will be so easy to manifest our life. It will be faster because we're gonna be opened. We will have different sort of knowledge, not from the mental state, more from the spiritual state, from our inner knowing, the way we are, like at our core, what makes us human, not just being in our head. So now our task is, in order for us to change our life, we have to tackle the frequency level and change our frequency. This is the message in this video, okay? And that is one of the mechanisms of how our brain operates and what prevents us from reaching different level of our being, you know? Allow yourself to take small steps, okay? Because I have to warn you, because this definitely works, and sometimes we might change so fast to the point that we are not fully equipped with the skills to deal with the changes in our life. Because, for example, if we start changing, our 3D will be reflected from our inner selves to the outside world based on our frequency, understanding, awareness, and inner work. Our 3D 100% will change, because this is how this works, you know. And one of the risks, or not being fully equipped of what is coming, is you might lose certain people in your life, but then other people will come to you that are vibing on a similar frequency. So, you know, I just want to make you aware of these things, okay? Also, in the simplest way, how I could explain how we can change our life, change the way we think, everything starts from our thoughts. That's why working on our vibration is very important, because based on that we're gonna be experiencing different thoughts, and then we can select our thoughts absolutely 100%. We can change the way we think in certain timing if we don't like, but everything starts from awareness, of course. And when we select our thoughts, for example, from negative to positive, we're starting to think completely differently about ourselves, about our surroundings. Yes, and we stop blaming other people. Because we're taking the full responsibility. But when you take the full responsibility about your growth and the change of your perception frequency, you have more power, and then you can navigate this lifetime opportunity from completely different angle, from a much more conscious, aware angle, because we are consciousness, because God gave us conscious mind. Okay, that's why we are all connected, interconnected, and that's why we can reflect that onto 3D, and what you see, this is what we are creating collectively as well. So the higher frequency, the more happy we are, the better for everyone collectively. That's why I am talking about it and promoting the awareness, because this is how we can change our life and then our society, etc., etc. You get my point here now. But we also know that it is easier said than done, because we do still have to confront our insecurities, our comparison to other people, and the programming, the way we think, and the way it depends on what sort of society we live in, what is appropriate, what is not appropriate, what is possible for you at that given moment, and what is not. So I get that. I hope you can see and you can understand as well. And yes, that's why many times I said that we are interconnected to each other. And the vibes, the frequencies are transferred from one person to the other very easily. Okay? That's why we are interconnected to each other. That's why the change starts from now and from us. And then, of course, everything starts from our thoughts. For example, because I am a woman, and that is great. I am so happy to be a woman, because I go through many different cycles with my hormones, etc. Sometimes I might feel negative, okay, and I'm looking at myself at the mirror and I don't like the way I look or something. And then straight away I have this sort of thoughts about myself that are negative, that maybe I don't like about myself, but because I can select my thoughts, because why not? Because I can be in full awareness of that. I know that I can select my thoughts. I need to concentrate now. And so, okay, where was I? I can change my thoughts, I can select them. So once I am aware that I can do that, so I do that, okay? Once I know that, okay, I feel like this today, negative, fine, I allow myself for this, but I know that tomorrow is a new day. And for example, okay, you know what, I will drink coffee and finally I will change my frequency, okay? So yes, you can change your frequency. Yes, you can. You have absolute power over this, and I strongly recommend you to do so. But if you feel like, okay, this is the day when I feel lazy, I don't want to do anything, it's fine, I'm comfortable. That's absolutely fine as well. You know, we all are humans, but if we are aware that we can change, select, and this depends on the way we live our life and the outcome of how our day will go, then this is a vital point for me to mention. And you know, if you are in a lower frequency, sometimes noise or other people might trigger something in you. For example, the next day you wouldn't even pay any attention to that. So this is how the frequency works, and we are ultimately experiencing that, okay? So we can also change the state of our frequency, but if we are not going to change it, if we're going to be on the low frequency of jealousy, for example, blaming other people for our life, for our, you know, state of being, from, you know, our mood, this is not the way forward. I'm sorry, this is not, because ultimately you have the power to change, and you should take the full responsibility over your frequency and the way you feel, and not blame other people for that, because that is just unfair, okay? That's just unfair, because it's easier for me, for example, to blame other people for the state of my mind. That's just unfair, can you see? So yes, we're going to be experiencing triggers, and in order to change our frequency or to work on ourselves, we have to look at these triggers and name them and think why these triggers are triggering us, basically. So then once we are aware, we can work on these and change, and then every time you solve that trigger, that puzzle that in you, you go onto a different level of frequency. The higher the vibration, the better for you and for all of us. And again, it is not about being constantly happy, okay? Because this is impossible to be constantly happy. But it is about knowing that you can change it, okay, and working and doing the inner work with yourself. This is what it is all about, actually. And don't forget about relaxation, okay? Don't forget about relaxation. And allow yourself to sometimes just be. And as a last point, changing the frequency requires to leave your own old self behind and accept the new version of yourself, okay? Look how beautiful this place is. Wow. Thanks for watching, guys, and take care of yourself. See you next time. Bye.